Welcome to the What's Already podcast, where we fashion ourselves cinematic judge and jury. My name is JJ Crowder. I'm here with my co-host Alec Burgess.
This is new.
I know it's weird, but
I forgot my line, JJ. Let's get it.
Yeah, and the real Ginge, because Mattson Heiner, it just doesn't fit in my head anymore, dude. You've been gone too fucking long.
I was not expecting that. That is strange, odd, weird.
I wasn't ready for Alec to go first, but this is the new reality. I'm just the redheaded stepchild.
Yeah, dude. Like, you've been relegated to the second string.
Am I a bench warmer?
Yeah, like you come in off the. It was really weird.
That made my entire year. I hope you know that, JJ.
It's because I don't read it anymore. Like, I have it memorized, but I've been saying it just me and Alec for like 3 months now. So it's like it just came out, and then I went, "Oh, that was weird."
I need to prove to our listening audience that I didn't have a son, but we have my wife birthed a son.
Yes,
I'm the beneficiary of him.
There you go. He's cute too.
Why do you have to clarify that? I'm confused.
What
have you been posting online, Mattson, that would make people think that you?
It's not what I wasn't posting. It's just I need people to know why I wasn't here.
It's true.
Anyway. Oh, we just told him you ran away and joined the circus.
Yeah.
Hope that
told him you were having, and then I think one time we told him you were having redhead problems or something. I don't remember.
Yeah.
There's been a few excuses, but we know you don't listen to the podcast. So
I listened to some of the Ahsoka stuff, but it's been a while. Good. But my wife's right here. You can't see her. She's just laughing. So she's enjoying you guys making fun of me. Thank you.
You've earned it. But it's good to have you back. But on a different note, if you can't tell, checking out if you're watching us. If you're listening, you'll have to wait for a second. But if you're watching, you can see we're sponsored. Like, so first of all, thanks Manscaped for helping us hit the big time. We feel legitimized, maybe, kind of
validated.
That's a good.
I can write home and tell my family I'm on a podcast now.
I mean, it also is kind of weird because did they watch us and think like these are just not groomed men? Like, were they looking at? I mean, they see JJ's kind of like we see him first. Like, is it an appropriate sponsorship? I don't know.
I mean, I think it is. I was glad they reached out. I mean, certainly if they watched us and they see me half the time, they were like, that guy's got a lot of hair in his face. I wonder if there's as much anywhere else.
I mean, if we get
you show your balls on podcast one time and here comes Manscaped.
Or is it because they enjoy making and punishing redheads and the fiery ginge and the firestorm that's down? I don't know. Like, it just might be a marriage made in heaven.
That could be true. But
that was nice knowing Manscaped.
Yeah, we appreciate you, though. It's a good thing that they're kind of an irreverent brand, too, though, because they kind of fit. Now, we could push that limit, I'm sure. But as you know, it's the holiday season, so we do want to, say thank you for our sponsors of the show, Manscaped. They're the leaders in below-the-waist grooming. They've launched their 5th-generation performance package to help you avoid another silent night in the bedroom this year. So take care of your special snowflake with the Lawnmower 5.0 Ultra and watch your South Pole shine like never before. That's a good euphemism right there, just so you're aware. South Pole. Get the best stocking stuffer of all by going to manscaped.com, and you can use code TheVerdict for 20% off plus free shipping. Mrs. Claus will definitely thank you. I much appreciated Manscaped. They did provide us with a lovely.
JJ, should I turn it on so I can hear the hum like a well-lit lightsaber?
For sure, dude.
I thought being a resident Star Wars fan,
your euphemism wasn't as good, Mattson.
Hopefully they can hear that. No.
and was way better.
And if you were worried for our listeners that can see, there is a light. I am wielding a lawnmower in the form of Manscaped's own lightsaber. Truly slaying the demons of my pubic hairs.
That's fair. I love this sponsor. Seriously, no, but I was really impressed when I got this because the light thing it's stupid, right? But hey, man, I'm fat and I gotta move shit around. So
JJ only trims in a dark closet, and he was like, "Oh, thanks for the light," because can't.
No, I block my own light. That's the problem. So it's really nice to have the light. It was helpful.
But if you're out there, if you're listeners, if you're listening, you're like, well, I've got my own set of boys and you need some help this Christmas time or a birthday, or you just want to some help anyways, use that code 20% off the verdict. If you have a boyfriend, if you have, I don't know, if you, what are you, I mean, you could use it on, have it use it on my dog. I probably could, maybe I shouldn't do it. Manscaped probably doesn't want me to say that, but if you have friends, you have family, and they don't look as good as you want them to look down there for what you picture, Manscaped can help. And
It's true.
I just got a diaper thrown at me.
Since we're just going all in, this one, I love this one too. The Weed Whacker one, they have the best names: the Lawnmower, the Weed Whacker, the Shears 3.0 for your nails. Like, it's great. But this one I've used more than like I use this all the time because I'm old and I have ear hair and nose hair problems. You probably can see a few coming out of there. They blend in real nice with the mustache. So, and
The
right
best
now,
thing though about Manscaped is they have a product for everything, right? I mean, there's nothing wrong with a full bush, but there's nothing wrong with not a full bush. And they have a product that will fit your needs for whatever you're looking for grooming wise. Whether it's the Lawnmower 5.0, which is going to cover the crown jewel of their line for the family jewels. Is that the best gonad trimmer that's on the market? I think so. You know, we can limit on those, reducing those nicks and cuts on the good old fashioned Santa sack.
that's right. So
Santa sack.
that was a good one. With all of that said, go get 20% off and free shipping with the code TheVerdict at manscaped.com. That's 20% off with free shipping at manscaped.com. And again, use The Verdict as your code, and then say ho, ho, ho to a well-groomed mistletoe with Manscaped. And with that, thanks for tuning in. We're here to talk movies as well, but thank you, Manscaped.
Oh, I want to leave that on my last
boy.
note. My haiku. I also have a Jingle Bell song I could sing,
Oh,
but
good
probably too
Lord.
Save
hard.
that for the next time.
I'll save it for next time. But I'm gonna leave you all with a haiku.
Please.
Redhead, fiery bright, Manscaped trims the jungle night, smooth delight in sight. Thank you, Manscaped.
Oh, God. I love
What
it.
is wrong with you?
So many things, and I'm so glad to have him back. That was awesome, dude. With that, let's
How do we transition from balls to movies? I don't know.
well,
We're gonna try.
we talk about a movie about a bunch of guys that probably could have used Manscaped in
From
their
what
heyday.
from what I know about their chest hair, one can only imagine.
Absolutely. So with that, we're talking this week. Actually, first, let me introduce you to the month. We're in the month because we moved on to a new month. It's December. It's the holiday season. So with that, we're doing movies that are worth a rewatch. So thank you to our patron. I'm going to call him Charles because I don't know what new name he has. I haven't looked at it in a second, but I know he's changed it. Oh, no, I know what it is. It's Guy Pearce. He changed it to Guy Pearce because I couldn't remember his fucking name a couple episodes ago. So well played, Charles. Well played. So yeah, thanks, Guy Pearce, for picking our movies as well as the topic for the month. So it's movies that are worth the rewatch. And we're watching, or most of us, I think, rewatching Goodfellas. It was released September 21st, 1990. It was written and directed by Martin Scorsese with some co-writing with Nicholas Pileggi. It stars Robert De Niro. I should say Ray Liotta first, huh? Because it is his movie, technically.
No, Robert De Niro.
That's right. Hey, don't diss Ray Liotta. That's my guy. So it stars Robert De Niro, Ray Liotta, Joe Pesci, Lorraine Bracco, Paul Sorvino, Frank Severo, Tony Darrow, Mike Starr, Chuck Lowe, and Frank Vincent. The story of Henry Hill and his life in the mafia, covering his relationship with his wife Karen and his mob partners Jimmy Conway and Tommy DeVito. Yeah, I'm glad to talk about this movie. It's been a while since I've seen this one, since I've watched this one, and it's the superior mobster film in my opinion. I think Scorsese's. I like Martin Scorsese. I love the fact that he put his mom in this movie. Joe Pesci's character's mom, the old lady, is Martin Scorsese's mom.
Really?
Yeah.
Huh.
So, but I think like his movies have gotten long and kind of bloated. This one, while long, still is
Short by his
primo.
standards.
Yeah, it's true. Today's standard. But I love this movie. I think it's great. Glad we're watching it. Great pick. Alec, this was one of your choices.
This was one of my choices.
This was an Alec choice?
This was an Alec
Yes.
choice.
Why did the note of surprise in your voice?
Wow.
The fuck, Mattson?
And he's back.
We're out here picking Charlie Chaplin doo-doo garbage, but you like Goodfellas? We're friends again.
Charlie Chaplin doo-doo
Whoa.
garbage?
Did I just hear you say Charlie Chaplin doo-doo garbage? Get out.
Unbelievable. Of course I love Goodfellas. It's
And
because I
picked
can't
Chaplin.
really sit through The Godfather or The Godfather Part 2
Oh, they're
very
long.
recently. Like, I can't sit through it unless I've taken a long break. Goodfellas is one that I can sit through anytime. And I think it starts at the beginning, right? Where, just this opening, this first 5 minutes is unreal for any kind of movie. You start out Ray Liotta, Robert De Niro, and Joe Pesci. And you get just the most greatest opening line ever, to lead you into this movie. And it just, from there, it takes off. And I think Martin Scorsese kind of gets a bad rap on a lot of things because he's brilliant in his directing, but he doesn't understand how brilliant he is. And so he, shits on the Mattsons of the world because he, says, hey, the common people should get this, but nobody can. And he doesn't explain himself.
It's fair.
But his stuff is brilliant. What he's able to do, storytelling wise, is great. And this movie is primo example of it.
Yeah.
Jay, I wanted to ask you, since this movie, it's funny, both movies we will be reviewing today, but this movie, since we're talking about it, is narrated at parts. And I always go back to it. Anytime I'm like, there's a voiceover. How's my boy Jay feeling about it? Lands well for me in this movie. But I love to ask you every time we have a movie like this.
Yeah, I don't. This one, when I first watched it, I was like, oh God, it's exposition. I hate exposition, voiceover exposition. That means you didn't do a good enough job telling the story. However, in this case, it grew on me, one, because I love Ray Liotta, and hearing Ray Liotta's voice will never stop being interesting to me. Rip Ray Liotta. What a great actor. I just love Ray Liotta. But I also like the fact that this is based on a book. And so that tells the real story of these people. And so I'm a little more forgiving in that situation when it's a first person book. I've read the book. It's a very good book. And it's told in the first person very similarly to how Ray Liotta talks in this. And so I can forgive it more because it holds the standard of that book thing. However, it does, by the end of it, like there's some parts in the middle where I'm like, oh God, Ray, we just watched. Look, we know a lot of people just got unalived. We don't need you to tell us about it too. Like you know what I mean? Like, so I think he overdid it in moments, but I was okay with the majority of it.
Do we have to say unalive because we're on YouTube?
No, we say whacked.
Yeah.
He got whacked.
Like, what?
No, but I know you like to. We're going to be using some clips and doing some shorts for possibly for the other social media.
Oh my gosh, unalive!
Those,
yeah,
so.
we need to go back, and every time they say whacked, we need to have it dubbed over with it.
Unalive.
We're gonna unalive him.
Oh shit! But I think my favorite part of this movie is that initial trio of actors, like Ray Liotta, friggin' Robert De Niro, and Joe Pesci. Unbelievable.
Forget about it.
Yeah, forget him. Yeah, so good in this movie. And I love Joe Pesci plays the same character in this movie that basically he does.
Oh,
in
that's
every
gangster movie that he plays.
Tay hadn't seen this one, and I told her at times, I was like, sometimes if you just showed me a scene from this or some of the others, it'd be hard to identify exactly which movie I was watching if I didn't see all the ancillary characters, because he is this, like, you just showed him a gun shooting something. I don't know which one that is. It could be like 6 movies. Like,
Yep. Well, we had just done one. What was the one we did earlier?
Casino.
Yeah, Casino.
I love that movie.
Where he's the same character. He's just this unhinged freaking little dude that gets pissed when anybody makes fun of him and just kills everybody. Whacks them all.
Did he really, in the book, is it true? Like, I'm assuming it's true. He shot that young in this movie when they were playing cards, shot him in the foot, and then just capped him. Yeah, Spider would just capped him later.
Mm-hmm.
Dude, how? Wow, that's like next level unhinged.
Yeah.
Well, you know, Spider thought he was a funny guy.
Yeah.
That's the thing. He thought he was a funny guy. He thought that, you know, Spider thought that Tommy was amusing.
Yeah. You ought to read the book. If you haven't read the book, I highly recommend it. And I recommend it because it is the stories like that you read. You're like, holy shit. Well, first of all, like the man himself can't keep his pie hole shut. So Henry Hill, they put him in this is like an after, if you will, movie, but like they put him in witness protection and they end up kicking his ass out of witness protection because he can't stop telling people who the fuck he is. Like, that defeats the purpose, but like he's bragging about who he is and who he hung out with and who his friends were and the fact that he put away all these mobsters. And so they eventually threw him out of the program because they were like, we can't protect you if you won't keep your pie hole shut.
Yeah.
So Henry Hill's an interesting dude.
For our listeners, the book is called Wise Guys, Life in a Mafia Family. I'm now going to read it.
You should. It's good.
JJ, if the trifecta that you just talked about, if you were to assign Alec, yourself, and I the three main characters of this movie, who would be who and why?
Well, Alec's definitely Joe Pesci.
I agree with that. Yeah, absolutely agreed with that.
He's he's unhinged. I might have broke my chair there.
What are you saying I'm unhinged for, JJ? What do you mean by unhinged? What are you saying?
Because
you saying I make you nervous that I'm unhinged? Is that what
I'm
you're
saying? You make me laugh. You're entertaining.
Oh, I entertain you. I'm an entertaining guy.
That's right. You're an entertaining guy. You're a funny guy. And then I would say I'm probably more the De Niro character.
I would agree.
Because I'm still a little unhinged, but I get control of my unhinged nature most of the time. And then Mattson's probably the guy that's always wondering, are we going to get in trouble for what these two dumbasses just did? It was fun.
Mattson's the rat. That's what you're saying.
And the drug dealer.
Hey, man. Own that shit. No.
Hey, I'm also the best looking, so I'll take it. I've been using my Manscaped correctly. So
that's right. That's right. Oh, shit. I love it. Yeah, but if I had to categorize the three of us, that's how
that's why I'm up here in Washington and I keep distance with Alec in Arizona. I need some space.
Never know when he's gonna put an ice pick through the back of a dude's head.
He's gonna say, "Hey, you want to go down to Miami?" And then I'm never coming back.
Yeah. I do love the meme ability too, like because every time I think of this movie, like my favorite part is early on when they're all laughing at the table at first at Joe Pesci's character. Because all I think about is that meme that everybody uses that image of them all laughing their asses off to like make fun of somebody. It's great. It's perfect. But I love the story of this movie too. Like it's crazy.
Oh, it's so good. Like on this watch through, I noticed kind of for the first time how we get that first initial young Henry Hill, right? And we see kind of this mobster life through those rose-colored lenses, where it's just cool. He sees kind of all the perks, the benefits. There's no violence or very little violence until the end. Then we move into kind of an older Henry Hill. He's making all his money. He's doing good. And then we transition into this darker side of the mob life. And we get the paranoia and, you know, the kind of the downtrend. So we have different kind of stories throughout told based on the different kind of, I guess, phases of Henry's life that he's going through, which was really cool to see.
Yeah, I mean, Alex, it's funny you mentioned about that. I don't know, for whatever reason, like the last couple of times I've seen this movie, I must not have like started at the very beginning for whatever reason, because I didn't remember the backstory about him when he was like a teenager. I just totally spaced on it, and it made me think a lot about Casino, actually, and not Casino. Sorry, there's another mobster movie with a kid that's like it's in like the Bronx or something. Gosh, I don't remember what that one's called either. But there's another mobster movie that has a similar premise at the very beginning, and it made me think of that. But it's just like it's interesting how when you're a kid like that, you're just looking for something cool in and out, and you're like, oh, like I'm making a little bit of dough. I can be at the front of the line for this. I can get bread sooner, meat sooner, all this, and then fast forward. I'm sure if you interviewed him like 10 years later, he's like, yeah, it's so cool, but there's a lot of stuff I didn't know that I didn't know then.
Yeah. Well, and I can't imagine, like, I watched this movie and knowing that, I mean, obviously probably parts of the movie, let alone the book. Because when you read the book, it's all based on Henry Hill telling this guy stories and then piecing the stories together from like what actually happened. But like, I can't imagine, like, we see Henry at the end, right? He's paranoid as hell. The helicopter's flying over. Like, he's got to worry about the government, the cops, the drug people, plus his friends that might want to kill him. You're just like, the level of paranoia. Like, I think about it and I go, I couldn't do that. Like, that progression of when it got to that point, like, I'd be ratting people out too. Like, so maybe I should switch and I'm Ray Liotta's character. I don't know. Because I'd be like, fuck you guys. I don't want to be, every time I hear a helicopter. I mean, it turns out he was right, but I don't want to hear a helicopter and be like, the fuck. You know,
you forgot the most important thing, JJ, the sauce. You had to worry about the sauce at this time as well. Like,
can't stick to the bottom of that pan.
Can't let the sauce stick.
The movie I was referencing was A Bronx Tale. Just came to me, but I thought one of the lines that always sticks with me is when Ray's narrating his character Henry when he's about to go into the diner to meet what's De Niro's character's name?
James Conway.
Jimmy.
Yeah, when he's meeting Jimmy, and right before he sits down, he's like, your friends, like in the movies, I always think you have this confrontation, you're arguing, and they're like, bam, bam, like you're getting whacked. And he's like, your friends, they'll smile right up to your face, and I don't remember exactly what he says, but basically, like they're sticking the knife in your back, kind of thing. Like they're doing it right to your face. And he's like, when you get whacked, like you don't know about it. Like it's all of a sudden it's just going to happen, and just an interesting premise because you think. That type it's so interesting in this movie. I was watching with Tay and she was like, wow, Jimmy just whacked like 6 or 7 people from that heist. And those were, if you remember, like those are people through the years, they're playing cards, they're doing everything. It'd be like us doing this podcast. We do some big heists and all of a sudden Jay's trying to ice us all. And it's like, we were never best friends for many years and we're dead to him. And it's just like that changes.
$6 million is a lot of money.
Yeah. Back then,
I whacked you guys for that. Sorry.
Yeah.
In fact, when did that heist happen? Like 70? What do we think? Like late 70s?
Yeah, it would have had to been like 78.
Mm-hmm.
It was 2 years before he got busted, I think, and it was 1980.
It's funny you bring up that diner scene because it's kind of been ruined for me. And it's nothing to do with the acting. The acting is great, right? And that line is awesome. But I skip over it because it was pointed out to me a few years ago that this poor extra in the background who's trying to enjoy his fake meal is looking in completely unnatural places to avoid looking at the camera. And so now all I do is I hyper focus on this poor guy who's just trying to eat his eggs, but he's like looking over at the wall while he's eating because he can't look at the camera.
So funny. I love that you talk about the guys getting whacked throughout. And the best part is most of them helped him do the person in before them. Like,
right?
You know what I mean? Like, so they're like, we're going to help you kill Mo or whatever his name was, Maury. Excuse me. We're going to help you kill Maury. And then all of a sudden he shows up in a freezer so freaking frozen that they had to let him thaw for 2 days to do the autopsy. Like,
dude, savage.
That's cold-blooded. Like, hey, help me kill Maury. And then the next thing you know, you're the next one on the list. And I mean, think about it. If you're Henry in that situation, you're watching these people get iced. And the next thing you know, you're like, hey,
you want to go to Florida real quick? Do a job?
Yeah.
Nah, I'm good.
You're like, I'm good, bro. 6 million today.
Yeah.
28 mil.
Yeah, I was gonna say it's got to be 20 something.
So that's
I wouldn't
that's
need that. I do it for the 6.
I know.
That's some cash.
I'd put you guys in a nice truck for 6.
That one guy, the outsider that like set up the heist, the ball breaker or the ball buster.
Yeah, Maury.
Man, he probably could have used Manscaped. Let's be honest. I just, dude, that with that level of, he's the one that helped kind of like link it all together, and then just one too many. Hey, need the money, and you're just like, dude, you gotta die. Like, do you know who you're like pestering?
Yeah.
But one wonders, was Jimmy ever gonna pay him anyways? Because he was like, I don't ever have to. Like, screw this guy.
Yeah.
It's much easier to whack them, and they're not gonna rat you out when they're dead.
Yeah. Well, and that's why he was feeding Henry like handfuls, right? Like he knew what Henry needed to be comfortable, not bugging him about the rest of the heist. Like, here you go, dude. And he'd take it. And that's what he was saying. He's like, I'll take my little chunks and not be a bother and not, have an expectation, and he'll keep me quiet. And that's the kind of paranoia too that I wonder, like, I think about criminals in general, like these guys, but criminals in general that work in a group, right? Like, you have to have some level of paranoia about your partners no matter what. Like, I don't care how good of friends you are. Like, there is the opportunity for them to rat you out at any moment to save their own ass or for any other reason. Like, that's some leverage. You know what I mean? And I don't think I could. I can't blame Jimmy for what he does. Like, I get it.
I won't be in a heist with you is what I just learned, Jay, because I can't trust you.
Yeah,
I'll do it. There's a chance he gives me some money and I can run away.
We can't trust you, Alec. You're going to like blow up the whole operation halfway through.
Well, yeah, if the government offered me more money to snitch, absolutely.
Yeah, exactly. I think Alec would be the guy that'd be like, I need you to help me plan a heist. And then he wouldn't make it to the heist. I need your mastermind skills. And they'd be like, what happened to Alec? I don't know. He left.
He gone.
Go check an ice truck. I heard he was looking for some freaking fatback or something. I don't know what the hell happened to him. I do like this movie, but here's one thing that I do with all of these gangster movies, whether they're Scorsese or not. Like, I compare them all, and I think this one might be, I don't want to say it's like the gold standard, because I don't know that it is, but it's the one that I think I enjoyed first when it came to telling a story of the mafia and that family mentality. I think this one, and then the Godfather, the original Godfather, and even Godfather 2. It's hard for me not to compare every mafia type movie to that. To these, though, to at least the Godfather Part 1 and this movie. Because when I think of mafia movies, those are the first two I think of. Like, then Casino will roll in a little bit, but even it was less about the mob as it was about a guy involved with the mob, right? And then you have others, like the one you talked about,
Bronx Tale.
Bronx Tale, and then there's like American Gangster, and there's a lot of them. But I think this one and The Godfather I always go back to, and unfortunately for the other movies, like, they have to be as good as those two for me to go, that's a good movie. And that might be a disservice to a lot of movies, because they're very good movies, those 3. So that's one problem I do have. But that's why it's good to revisit this one, because I'm like, oh yeah, I remember what a good mob movie and a good gangster movie is about. So
it's about having Joe Pesci on your cast. That's what it's about.
Damn right. Well, and they talk about the fact that he acted very much like the actual Tommy. The difference was Tommy, I guess, was built like a brick shit house. Like, the guy was fucking built like a tank instead of Joe Pesci.
It just makes him even more terrifying.
Yeah.
He's out there at his kitchen table asking his mom if he can borrow her kitchen knife to hack off the bit. You're just like, how dumb is this mom? But she must get it, but knows to not ask questions.
Yeah. Yep. That's according to Henry Hill. The quote I was reading is, according to Henry Hill, obviously that's who the book was the basis of. Joe Pesci's portrayal of Tommy was 90 to 99% accurate. The one notable exception that the real Tommy was massively built.
Jeez.
Could you imagine a freaking psycho that's built like a brick shit? I'd be like,
That explains it, why you have like that one scene after the Bamboo Lounge incident, right? Where this girl's like, I can't do anything. Like, what do you want me to do? It explains a little bit better, because I'm like, dude, it's Joe Pesci. Like, pick him up and put him on a shelf out of the way where he can't hurt anybody.
Yeah. Or like even at the beginning when Henry's giving him shit at the dinner, and he's like, all of a sudden he backs away. He's like, whoa, hang on. Oh, you fucker, you almost got me. Because it's like, why are you so afraid of this man? Like, he's Joe Pesci. And then you find out later the guy's cuckoo for Cocoa Puffs. But it would make much more sense. Like, if you're looking at friggin' The Rock and he's off unhinged on top of it, Jesus.
Yeah.
He's not as big as The Rock, but he's big. Like who's the guy that he kind of actually looks a little bit like Burt Reynolds. Like Burt Reynolds is not a small. He's big and he's good looking. So they did him dirty by putting in Joe Pesci.
I don't know. I mean, I'm thinking about trying to picture Burt Reynolds in a mob movie.
I know, right?
It's not coming up after what was it, Smokey?
Well, this Tommy, he doesn't look like a mobster. He could be on like a GQ magazine.
Huh.
Look him up. He looks good. He's got this like Magnum PI mustache. I'm telling you, he doesn't. He looks.
Him up.
Yeah, seriously, that's what we're all sitting here looking about. What's his name? Tommy DeSimone.
Like, yeah, that's him. And you see like the side by side. He looks pretty good. A good looking dude.
Oh yeah. I mean, they nailed Joe Pesci's wig for him.
Sure, but that guy's
anyway.
He'd have been the best looking guy. He'd have been I mean, they didn't want him to make him look as good as Ray Liotta's character. Clearly,
sure. I mean, it's hard to outdo Ray Liotta with those eyes. Jeez, Ray Liotta's eyes, man. Man, I miss Ray Liotta.
They're so good.
I like that guy.
Jay, you're scaring me a little bit,
dude. I don't think I've ever been shy about the fact that there are certain people that
scaring you. How?
Because I'm attracted to Ray Liotta.
Everybody's attracted to Ray Liotta.
He's a good-looking guy.
You're the odd man out here, Mattson.
Soulless redheads don't like the sexy men. All right. Well, should we rate this thing?
Let's do it.
Okay, Alec, it's yours. You're first, buddy.
This is, and always will be a 5. I like to watch this movie anytime I can sit down and watch it. I enjoy it. This is something where I can kind of pick it up wherever. It doesn't have to be a start to finish thing. I can come in halfway through. I can come in near the end, and I still enjoy every single portion of this film. I think it's well done. I think it's one of Martin Scorsese's better films that he's made, and easier to digest as just a common viewer. Like, it can suck you in regardless of how you feel about Martin Scorsese movies. So, yep, 5 for me. We'll watch it again. We'll always watch it again. Easy.
I have to ask, though, would you watch this with your grandma then?
Oh, yeah, I'd watch this with my grandma.
Oh, okay.
100%.
I was just going to say, like, there's been movies that you said I couldn't watch it with grandma, so it doesn't get a 5.
No. Goodfellas is a grandma-approved movie.
So she knows what you're asking for when you ask her to borrow her kitchen knife.
Yeah, exactly. Can't use that trick.
better get to know your grandma so she can call a Warner brother when you start borrowing shit.
Get a poor dear grandma. I was right in the middle of the road. Hoof stuck up there. I gotta
cut it out of the grill. That's great. All right, Mattson.
Yeah. So I was trying to think if this was a 4.5 or 5. I can't really think of a reason I wouldn't give it a 5. So I'm going to give it a 5. It's long. I have to clarify. I had to watch it over like 2 or 3 days because I just had stuff I had to do. But in between having to wait for that, I found myself excited to continue to watch what I was going to watch, knowing kind of what was happening. And as you guys know, I haven't been on here for a little bit, but movies that make me want to come back and rewatch them. I'm not a huge like movie rewatcher. This movie has so much rewatchability. And like Alec talked about at the beginning, and I agreed with him, like the beginning of this movie, didn't even remember it, and I was impressed with it. There's just so many different storylines, the character progression, the drama, and the fact that pretty much all this, I'm sure with a little bit of movie embellishment, is real. It happened. That just makes it that much cooler, and also insane that it happened. And Joe Pesci's character is a real dude that actually was attractive and was darn right scary. Great movie. If you haven't seen this movie, shame on you. Go watch this movie. Maybe not watch it with your niece and nephew, but watch it with your grandma.
That's right. All right. Yeah, I'm gonna give it a 5 as well. Like, it's just hard not to, right? I think it's the epitome of the non-character driven, solely character driven gangster movies. Like, when I think of, I think of other gangster movies, and a lot of them will be like very character driven. This one has character driven stuff, but it's more of the character is the mob in this group, right? Which I love. It's the dynamics between this trio of people, plus the fact that only one of them could ever have been a made man if he wanted to be. the other two couldn't. Like, how do they then navigate and become top guys in a mafia family without being able to be made? So it's like this interesting dynamic. The three of them playing off of each other is really good. Watching the relationship deteriorate over this big score and them doing what they're doing. Like, I just enjoy, there's always something going on. And to Mattson's point, it is long, but it doesn't feel like a 2 hour and 25-minute movie. It feels like a good, solid 2 hour movie that's fun and interesting and entertaining and always constantly moving. Something is always happening in this movie, which is, it's great. And I enjoy the fact too, like Mattson said, that there's a level of realism to it that somewhere, while I'm sure there was plenty of creative license taken, this shit happened. Like, these guys existed and they pulled heists and they sold drugs and they killed people and they went to jail and they did all this stuff. And that to me is very compelling to think about, because I would never be in that life. At least, the person I am just wouldn't. So,
and let it be said, that's a good thing, JJ.
Yeah, sure. I mean,
speak
sure.
for yourself. If I could walk in a place and hand someone $100 bill for holding the door, I'm doing it.
I mean, sure. There's aspects of the life that I'd be like, that's dope. But then there's other parts I'm like, yeah, but I don't want to ice pick a dude in the back of the neck to be able to do that.
The problem is that JJ, that I know very well, wouldn't be able to do most of what he likes to do because of his lifestyle.
That's also very true. But there's also some pieces of that lifestyle that I wouldn't mind trying on occasion again.
But you wouldn't have any time to relax because you'd be so terrified.
I would be a shut-in by the time I was at Henry's age at the end there. I'd be like, I'd have friggin' guns everywhere. I'd be like, come on in my house. You're not taking me alive, fool. Anyway, with all of that, Alec, tell everybody where they can find us. And I'm sure mention our lovely sponsor again throughout.
Happy to do so. So thank you for tuning into our review of Goodfellas. This is just one of those fun-filled, heartwarming gangster movies that is good for the whole family. Special thanks to our current patron, Guy Pierce, for the selection of our first movie in the month of movies worth a rewatch. If you need some more What's Our Verdict in Your Life, check us out on the YouTubes so you can see our wonderful faces. With that, I will kick it back to the Titan of Terror, the Colossus of Clout, JJ. One more time, go to Manscaped, code The Verdict for 20% off all of your goodies.
And free shipping.
And free shipping.
And for saying that and being so good about it, we're now going to cover his face with a fun logo from Manscaped. So if you're watching on YouTube, it's really entertaining to watch Alec try to talk through this GIF. So come join us. If you're listening, you should go watch it now because it's funny. But yeah, thanks, Manscaped. Thanks, everybody, for tuning in, listening. We appreciate it. As always, we appreciate you tuning in, and we will catch you on the next one.
Bye.
Hasta la vista, baby. Cinemagic out.